Hey, the 46 lessons of my life has returned, and I've been learning a lot since the last one, and I didn't realize it was a life lesson, but within the last month, it's been a recurring theme, and I want to share it with you. And if I could give this video a title, I would say make the investment. Okay. And parallel with that title is how much is it worth to you? Okay. And this is what I mean. So in my day job, I help people obtain their education. And one of the recurring, very real, very realistic issues that people have with continuing their education is the cost. And listen, we Americans, and we know the cost of education in this country is exorbitant if we look at the sticker tag of it all. But what I realize is that most people don't do what they call the cost benefit analysis, meaning at the outset, what is hard for a lot of people to get past is the sticker price as well as the time investment. All they can see is, man, this is going to require some pain, the pain of money leaving my wallet, or the pain of possibly taking out of a loan for something that I can't guarantee is going to give me a return on investment. It's going to give me the pain of not having all discretionary time, a lot of discretionary time to be leisure, to waste time. I want to say waste because the leisure has its place. We all need rest outside of the grind and outside of work. And so, but the thing is that a lot of people cannot see that. They never see, in this example, education having a possible value that is greater than what they're putting into it. It's so difficult to do that, to expound upon people. Although they will have shared with me that they are stuck in the rat race and they can't seem to elevate. They can't seem to get ahead. A lot of them are so very transparent about their financial situation, which has been the same for many years. And it's crazy right now, but they can't get the math. The math doesn't math for them in terms of, man, I know that I've been doing this same equation for years. But I believe I deserve better. And I really do want better. But I'm not doing better things. I'm not doing anything different to produce those results. And so they are believing in math that doesn't exist. Keep that in the back of your head. Put a pin in it. In my own life, with these external business and ventures that I'm trying to do, I remember first quarter this year being frustrated that I wasn't getting the answers that I needed, or being in the circles that I needed with people so that I could grow the business. And I allowed myself to look at people who were doing what I wanted to do. And what I ended up having to do, and I didn't want to do, but I'm glad that I did. I had to say, you know what? If I got to charge what I need to, if I don't have the cash, if I have to put it on a credit card, I'm going to do what I got to do. If I have to travel, I'm going to do what I got to do. If I have to increase my content for recognition, I'm going to do what I have to do. If I have to attend more chamber meetings and put my face out there, I'm going to do what I have to do. I allowed myself to get uncomfortable and to realize that I am worth that time investment. I am worth charging these things. Now, I, as a principle of my life, I don't like debt at all. But when I thought about the fact that for the majority of my adult life, from the moment I got my first credit card as an 18-year-old, as an undergraduate freshman. For the most part, I had spent that on things that had no return on investment. I when I didn't know any better about credit, I spent a lot of it on fashion and trinkets and nothing to show for it. But it's fascinating to me, and I would venture to say that a lot of those have the same background as me. But then when it comes to making decisions about investing in a business idea that we have, or furthering our education, we are hesitant and we pump the brakes on those things. And it's really very sad to see, right? And so I'll go even further. There are certain events in our chamber, our business chamber in the town that I live in, where the cost of attending is much higher than others. And I remember for the end of the year awards banquet that I just attended a couple days ago, when I saw the ticket price, I said, oh my goodness. And for a moment, I lamented. I said, isn't that fascinating that it almost seems like there is a barrier to entry for certain levels of engagement, whereas the ticket price is much higher, whereas the time of day, this was smack dab in the middle. It was from 11 to 2. And when I first saw that, I had lamented. I said, ain't that like something? They really don't want the regular Joe to get in the dough. That's what I thought. But then I came out of that and I said, whose fault is that? What can I do to get myself in the door? Because there was a speaker there that is in a position of authority for an organization that is building in our town, and I want to be in the door of that organization. So what am I willing to pay to get in the door just to get 120 seconds to introduce myself and put my card in that person's hand? Isn't it worth me putting the money on the table for that event? That's my life. It's my dream. If I don't get in the door to do that, that's not their fault. Their price is their price. Regardless of how I feel that the barrier to entry. Do I have the money to pay for that ticket? I do. You want to know why I know I got it? Because if I didn't spend it on that, I would have spent it on something else. I'm a creature for comfort. I work from home for my day job. So my living space, I have made it cozy. And so I'll say, oh, I'm going to save my money. But truth be told, I'll dibble away at my discretionary income to buy another piece to make my living space colorful and comfy. And so you got to be honest about it and say, nobody owes you. You do have the space and the time and the money, but you're not doing right by yourself for it. So anyway, I bought the ticket. And I got in the door. Not only did I meet the person of influence, but while I was waiting to speak with her, because after the event, everybody amassed around her, so we're all patiently waiting one by one to speak with her. Bless her heart. People that are in positions of influence, and everybody wants to speak with you, and them having the patience and the grace to shake hands and be friendly while we all try to get in with them. Thank God. So, but while I was waiting, I was standing in line to another woman, and she and I began to have a little small banter. Come to find out, we're from the same region of the country. There was a connection. She asked what I did. I popped off a card. She was excited. A few hours later, I got an email submission from my website for my business. This lady hiring me, she wants to purchase every item that I have this season on site for her end of year celebration. I paid literally a fraction of the cost of that ticket. And my mind was on meeting the person that I needed to, and I did. But also, I made at least one sale. I don't know who else is going to come out of it, but I made at least one sale. One sale. And that sale is actually going to yield 10 times what I paid for that ticket. Now imagine if I had held on to my little money because I was stuck in my feelings about, oh, the cost, oh, the cost, oh, the cost. Going back to my initial thesis of this video. Make the investment. What is the value to you? What does it mean to you to put the investment in? What does it mean to be uncomfortable for a season of time if it's going back to school? Listen, the time is going to go by. The time is going to go by. The reality is, on most of our jobs, the increase that we would desire 2 to 4 years out, we are not going to get it simply by having seniority because of the years we worked on a job. We're not going to get that based off of seniority. A lot of times we're going to have to elevate and show that we bring more value to the table than we already have, because they're already paying us to do that job. So why should they pay us more to do what they already paying us to do right now? That's the thought. That's the thought that these corporations come up with. Listen, it's not that I agree, but I'm trying to think outside of my sphere. And the reality is that, it has been well documented that when you leave a job, you typically can go outside of that job and make more money. But if you don't invest in furthering your education, if you were to lose your job today, could you make that same amount of money or more? So why aren't you investing? When it comes to me doing my business, if I didn't put the time in to do the orders and go through the painstaking exercise of doing the task over and over and over, and it was a lot of work, and it was team no sleep, which I don't like the thought of it, and it was uncomfortable. But by the time I get to this order that I'm doing at the end of the year, I know what to do. I know how to plan it. I know what to expect, and it gets easier. It gets easier. It gets better. And my return on investment is now multiplying. Listen, now I don't like the fact it took me to get to 46 to learn that lesson, but I'm glad I got it now. There are so many people that I speak to every day on my job that don't get it. They're my age and older. They're younger and they don't get it either. And I do my best to remain professional, but to still be candid, very candid with the young people who are in the same predicament, because everybody doesn't have the bones to be an entrepreneur. Everybody doesn't have investors and all of that sort of thing. And I just, at least at this stage in my life, I think it's prudent, it's shrewd to have options. To know as much as you can about your craft, get higher education if that is beneficial to your spot. And truth be told, it is beneficial for most of us to get higher education. It really is. And I know people do not like that fact. But one of the things about higher education, it forces you to learn how to communicate well. When you got to do these mandatory discussion board posts, group projects, and papers, you doing a lot of writing. And I think it is so necessary, because just within my own profession, when I look and I see the illiteracy that is in abundance, I did not realize how bad it was in our country until I started doing this particular job for a living. And it's very sad. Like, we know that there is, a certain level of illiteracy in our country, but I would just say, jarring, because we are America. And so I think higher education is needed to learn how to communicate well and to have deeper comprehension, to be able to comprehend well, gives people the capacity to understand and emote better with other humans. I think because people are not well learned, their level of intimacy with other human beings and being open-minded and is very limited because of that. What I'm not saying is that having higher education guarantees it. I'm saying that it increases the likelihood that someone may be able to communicate better, which I think is so necessary today. I apologize for going into that tangent. This was not about getting higher education. It all ties into the final thesis of make the worthy investment. Do it now. Do it now. You have it right now. You have the money. You have the time. Are you going to manage it well?